Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live podcast, where I, Sunita, along with my co-host Tracy, we hop on every Friday and talk about all things North Fork. I think fall has decided to skip the North Fork and allowed winter to sort of settle in. It has been cold, but more than cold, it has been windy, like brutally windy. Not that I've been walking a lot, but it's kind of really making even walking outside hard. We have this tiny little dog. He's a 8-pound 𝗕𝗄 mix, and he was running on the beach yesterday in the cold, and it just felt like the wind might blow him into the water. So I don't think there's sunshine for another week here. It's just going to be cold, but that just means we need to shift gears and move into the winter holiday season, which is soup season. I mean, I think we're beyond sweater weather now. We are at coat weather. But I saw a post that was talking about, because I'm thinking about soup so much, and there are so many places to get soup, but Chronicle Wines is having a soup Sunday. I think it might be Grace and Grit pop up. I'm not sure who brings the soup, but that sounds really fun thing to do on a Sunday. Speaking of Sundays, I think Lovely in Kitchen is doing creative avenues people have of sort of, having a Sunday fun day. And I believe Saucy Sundays at Lovely in Kitchen. Good morning, Elyse. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Have you heard of Saucy Sundays?
I've been listening about it right now. It sounds great.
The Lovely Kitchen. I guess they decided to make I was talking to Carolyn about it, like a simple, I don't want to say basic, but a simple marinara sauce, just as comfort food. So on Sundays, I guess they're doing pasta dinner with the marinara sauce and stuff, and they're calling it Saucy Sundays. And I was like, I need to be there for Saucy Sunday.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, their food is good, but how are you dealing with this weather?
I'm staying in and people are out and about, but that's okay.
Isn't it crazy how it feels like we didn't even really see a fall? Like it started to. I mean, there were a little bit of the leaves were changing color, and I keep looking at the weather every day, hoping that it's going to change. But I think this wind and cold is here to stay.
But it was like that in the spring too. It was like, where was spring? It just rained every day for 3 months, and then all of a sudden,
So and suddenly it was summer. Yes, yes, yes. All right. I don't know where Tracy is. I know she texted me earlier today that she's getting her act together, so she'll hop on. But let's dive in and introduce everybody who you are. I see your beautiful logo in the background. Um, who you are and what you're doing in Greenport.
sure. So my name is Elyse, and I run 𝗏𝗏. I think it's a fabulous clothing store. We sell men's and women's apparel, and I like to say that we are the store that if you want something that doesn't say Greenport on it, you come here. While I love Greenport, sometimes you just want a sweater or a shirt or a dress that you can wear out and about, to someplace other than, one of our local waterfront watering holes.
I,
But
I
this
hear
is
you. I hear you.
going to my 6th season here, which is super exciting.
Wow, has it already been 6 seasons?
Yes.
I
So
think COVID really accelerated the time frame of what we think how many years have gone by.
I know. So 𝗏𝗏 is going into its 4th season, and then I had 𝗏𝗏𝘀 and 𝗏 here for 2 years before that. So altogether, I've been in this space for 6 years.
Wow. And
And
it's a beautiful space where just tell everybody where it is because it's on Front Street.
it is. We're at 15 Front Street. We are just a few doors down from the 𝗪𝗏𝘀 Oyster, which everybody knows. And we are just about on the corner of Main Street and Front. So it's a great location. We get a lot of foot traffic. People come to Greenport to, walk around, go to Claudio's for a drink and listen to a band. And then they kind of stroll in here and do a little shopping. So it's been a really great location. You really can't miss us. And then you mentioned the logo before. So Michael, who is a fantastic artist, he has the store right next door, and he designed the logo for us. And so it's been great. We have the one thing that says Greenport on it, we do have some baseball caps that say Salt and Sea with Greenport on it.
I mean, I'm glad you're talking about the logo because it is a personal favorite for me. I just love the blues in it. Something about it just catches your eye immediately. And I love the connection. And, we talk about this week after week about collaboration and how local businesses are always helping each other. So I really love the fact that your next door business neighbor, Michael, and everybody calls him Ray because his store currently is called Ray Design. I'm so glad that he designed that for you. Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
Good morning.
We
Hanging on
decided
by a thread over here.
Aw.
we decided to dive in because it's too
Yes.
cold to wait. It's like freezing.
Yes, as you should.
So we were talking about Elyse's logo, which I know, as soon as you see it, it resonates with you as well. The blues in it are so beautiful. I love it. I love it. It's such a
very nautical and very, yes, I love it.
Exactly. And that was one of the things that when I was talking to Michael about designing it, we had mentioned how, we're here in Greenport. It's an amazing, beautiful nautical waterfront village. And I would like it to sort of represent that. Which sort of ties back to also like the product that I carry here because the North Fork is so sustainable. We're farm to table, seed to table. So the brands that I carry also, I make sure have some sort of a sustainable factor to it, just to tie back to where we live here.
I love that.
Yeah.
So how did you get started on this journey of becoming a boutique owner? Like what led you to, is it a fashion background? Is it a marketing background? What brought you here?
I do have a fashion background. So I started in visual merchandising back in the 90s for a brand called Elyse Merrifield, if anybody remembers that.
Of course.
They're still around, aren't they?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I was a visual merchandiser for corporate, and then that sort of brought me into some other retailers. I've worked for Tommy Hilfiger, DKNY, and Taylor. Most recently, I was with Banana Republic, and I was out in San Francisco with my husband and working for The Gap, and Nike, and then Sephora right before the pandemic hit. And so it was sort of my dream. My family's had a house out here on the North Fork since the 80s. And I've always said, when I retire from corporate America, I'm going to move out here full time and open a store. It happened during the pandemic, which fortunately for me, I was able to get this fantastic prime location spot, which I probably would not have been able to get had it been a normal time in this world.
Well, I remember, I think it was a boutique prior to you also, because I think there was a young woman that owned it and she moved out of state or something. That's kind of what I remember.
So this space was actually 𝗪𝗪𝘀 at one point. If you
yes.
So
yes. Way back. Now we're like rewinding. Yes.
So Michael's spot and my spot was one big gigantic store, and it was 𝗪𝗪𝘀. And then when 𝗪𝗪𝘀 went, I think there was some sort of a scandal. But when
we missed that. I missed that.
Googling.
When they left the retail scene, this store called Crinoline, and I can't remember her name. I think it was Carrie, but
I forget her name, but I remember she had a yellow bicycle sitting outside filled with like a basket of flowers or something.
Yeah. So she apparently during the pandemic she shut down and she moved to Vermont and got married. So I think she's living a great life. And then that gave me the opportunity to sort of take this space over. And so I'm like, I was telling you, I'm going into my 6th season in 2020 here in this space.
Wow.
It's been very exciting.
That says a lot of a business that opened right after the pandemic. You really don't know how it's going to go. So that's really great.
Yeah.
Go back to a little bit. You said you were in visual retail, and what did you call it? What were your title? Visual merchandising. So I personally so affected by how a store is set up and how my shopping experience, like I can walk in, no, it's too chaotic in here, and that visual merchandising kind of is, right?
It is. So there's a couple of different aspects to visual merchandising. I think what most people think about is the aesthetics of the store. So some stores walk in, a lot of propping, a lot of display. And that is definitely part of visual merchandising to make it look, cozy or in a certain holiday festive way. But visual merchandising, the science behind it is more about understanding how a customer walks into your store. Did they go to the right? Did they go to the left? Where are they looking? Are they looking at things that are folded on a table versus hanging on a rack? And just understanding the psychology behind how somebody comes into the store and shops your store. So my store, from a propping perspective, is very minimalistic. I would like the product to be the hero in the store. So I want you to come in and I want you to look at the clothes. I spend a lot of time with my brands and understanding the upcoming trends and trying to figure out, like, having a history of what my customer is drawn to and what I've sold in the past, and kind of understanding what's going to work for them, and based also on their requests and their comments. And so I spend a lot of time on the actual assortment in the store. So that I want customers to focus on when they walk in. I want them to, oh, I know I'm going to be able to find that dress or that sweater, or versus, it's so pretty in there, let me take pictures.
Yeah.
I want that to be a comfortable aspect as well, but I really want the product to shine and to stand out and be the hero here.
Well, I think that's an important part of how the store was started for you, in terms of, you have a science behind it. A lot of people might just think like, oh, I'd love to open a clothing store, and not realize how much really, and how much you have to think about the consumer experience, and then how much that consumer experience leads to the success of your business.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like so we are currently going into, well, we're in the middle of summer market. So we are buying clothes for May, June, July, like right now.
Yay! Can't wait.
It's so crazy. So it's like, we're almost a year out from what we're doing. And it's like, all I want to do is sweaters and big, comfy, fluffy clothes. And I'm looking at tank tops and strapless dresses, which is great. It's like, puts you in the mindset for what's happening in the future. But it's like, you have to kind of think about what's coming down the road. And I have to really trust that my brands are the experts in understanding, what is the color of the year, what fabrications are going to be happening. We have some things politically with the tariffs that are going on. And so what does that mean to the cost of our products? And, how do we not pass that on to the consumer? And who's, we're trying to figure all of that out at the And so it's a little bit of an uncertainty, but it's also super fun. And I have really great brand partners that do a lot of research, have people that are way smarter and more informed than I am. And so we kind of like bounce ideas off of each other. And it's like, do you think denim is a perfect example? I sell a lot of denim. I carry Paige, Edwin, Mother denim. And I'm always like, what's the leg this year? Are we back to, are we still in straight, or is it the wide leg? Like, what's going on in the trends?
Well, is skinny leg coming back? Because I have a lot of those skinny jeans that I don't know if I should hang on to or let go.
So what I always tell my customers when they come in is that in the colder months we're wearing boots, and you can't fit those wide leg jeans into your boot. So hold on to your skinnies. You're going to tuck them into your boots this winter.
That's a good
idea. Good thought. Because like I said, there was a while where I don't know why I have so many, and every time I pull it out, I feel like I have to put it back in the closet because it's not calling my name. But I like with the boot idea. Treat them like leggings.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and something you were saying was making me think, like, so if you have to buy everything so far in advance and you have to try to guess what the trend is going to be, are there circumstances where maybe you get it wrong and then you're scurrying to buy what's popular right now in the last minute?
Yes. I don't carry super trendy items because my a little bit higher. I don't have that super young teenage customer. I have her mom, which which is great. So I don't really go super trendy and with what the fads are, so to speak. But I do want silhouettes that are current and colors that are current, and fabrications that are current. So I do it that way. The brands that I work with have been really amazing. And yes, of course, I get things wrong. If I was right all the time, I would. And so they are really good about letting us swap things. If you, as long as you don't
Oh,
take advantage of it and do it too often, if I buy something that's a total dud, I can just call them up and be like, hey, I need to send this back. And then I just have to swap it for something else. And so I can either swap it for a silhouette that did really well for me that I sold out of, or I can try something new. And so I'm able to definitely do that in the season that it lives in. And again, it's like I don't take advantage of that too often. And sometimes if something is a total dud and I have too many of them, I'll just mark it down, ends up on the sale rack, just to kind of move it along.
I love that this conversation is bringing so many insights on what it really takes behind the scenes to run a small business, right? Because there's so many moving parts, and you touched upon, obviously your skills with merchandising, but also with being able to pick at the right brands to work with, and also identifying your ideal customer. Is that part of, I know they talk a lot about figuring out who your customer is and then be able to create the store around them. So you are one of the few boutiques, I would say, that also carries men's clothing.
Correct.
So how do you figure that out, and who your client is, and how do you attract the right client into your store?
So I would say our split is probably like we sell 60% women's, 40% men's. So it's sort of even. It's a
That's pretty
and
good. Like usually there's one tiny section for the men's in the corner,
oh,
if there is any, right? So that's pretty good. So shout out to all the men that are looking for something on the North
exactly.
Fork. Here's a place you can walk into.
So a lot of my male customer is we have a ton of weddings out here and a lot of events, and for some reason men forget their dress shirts all the time, and so they walk in.
Or maybe the woman decided that that's not the one they should wear because they packed the wrong one.
Very possible. But so I started carrying, originally it was a little bit more of a casual men's section. But then when men kept coming in and saying, do you have a dress shirt? I need a dress shirt. I've got a wedding tonight. I was like, oh, note to self. And so now I carry a bunch of dress shirts. Um, and so there's that customer. And that happens with women too. I had a customer that came in with her husband. They were in town for a wedding, and she got off the ferry into the hotel, and she didn't have a suitcase. And her husband was like,
Oh,
I left it on the bed. And she was like, well, great. I've got a wedding to go to, and all I have is what's on my back.
Oh my gosh.
So I was able to get her a dress for the wedding that night, and then able to get her like a different shirt and sweater for the next day, and then and then I couldn't help her with the rest of her stuff, but I was like, "There's a drugstore over there where you can get a toothbrush and deodorant." So
Wow.
stuff happens quite a bit, or somebody is out and something rips, and they run into the store with their purse behind their back, covering their butt because they've split their dress when they sat down.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that happened a lot from an emergency aspect. But then I also have a lot of men that are just interested in fashion, as well as the women who are like, my husband doesn't shop, I buy everything for him. And so while they're buying themselves, they'll look in the men's section and pick up a few things for him too. But the men's section has been, my husband is a really great help with picking out the things that, that will do well for our client. So it's been great. There are, as to your point, there's not a lot of male options out here in Greenport. And so I'm happy to be able to fill that void.
How often are you at the store? Are you at the store every day, or do you have staff now?
I am not here every day. We are just entered into like our winter hours, and so we're closed Tuesday and Wednesday. And I work right now. I'm working Sunday, Monday, and I do have a part-time helper who works Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then obviously when we travel and stuff, we kind of pick up shifts. Over the summer, I have 3 part-time employees, but I live a few blocks away from the store, so I am here all the time, much to her, you know, just
Well,
chagrin.
even if you're not physically behind the counter, I mean, as a small business owner, there's 1,000 things to do. So you're probably working,
Yeah.
more hours or days than anybody can count.
Oh, absolutely. So our store is also fully online. So, and online you can shop
Oh, okay.
all over the U.S. And so everything that's physically in the store is also on the website. And so some that has to get uploaded onto the website now. So I'm doing that when I'm not here. I'm doing that. We're sort of in the lull right now. There's no new product in. We have all of our amazing sweaters and holiday gift giving items are in store now. So we have all of that. So people that want to shop early for the holidays can come in and do that.
I mean, it sounds early, but it's given the way time is flying. I don't know that
Oh
it's
yeah.
actually early.
I know I
I'm
haven't.
almost done. I'm really proud of myself. I'm almost done.
Wow,
Wow.
that's
Yeah,
great.
I know.
I
So is the website 𝗏+𝗫.com? Or what is the exact website?
The website is 𝗏𝗃 for Greenport.com.
Okay. Okay. Great.
𝗏𝗃.com. Yeah, there's apparently a store in Hawaii that's also called 𝗏𝗃, and so they had already taken that.
Okay. Okay. And what is the last date that someone could order something from your website to get it for Christmas?
I don't know exactly. We ship everything through the post office, and we ship priority mail, so it's usually like 3 day shipping. Um, so I would say, probably up until the second in December. But what's going on with the mail and the shipping, and sometimes the later you get, it gets a little bit dicey. If
Yeah.
somebody needs something overnighted, I can definitely do that. It would just be a different shipping
Yeah.
cost.
You mentioned your family's been here since the 80s. So did you grow up here or how did you find your way here?
So I grew up in Garden City, and anyone that knows Garden City knows that they all have summer houses in 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗃. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. I didn't know that.
so yeah, so if you go to the 𝗧𝗏𝗃 Country Club and you say Garden City, everyone raises their hand. If you go to like 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗀, half the people in there are from Garden City. So if you came to the North Fork, you went to 𝗏𝗏𝗃. If you went to the South Fork, you went to West Hampton. So there's a lot of Garden City people out here.
I see.
Okay.
I see. So you were familiar with it over the years.
Yeah, so so in high school, I had a couple of friends who had second home, their families had second homes out here, and we would come out here. And then when my family started talking about a second home, I was like, we should go to 𝗏𝗏𝗃 and check it out. And they were like, all right. And so we would go on like, little drive. And my family found this great house in Nassau Point, and that was the mid '80s, and we fell in love with it out here. We used to call it the country. We're going to the country.
Yeah.
And not that Garden City was like super urban, but it was a really great time to be here. And part of why I wanted to come out full time was that it does remind me of my family. My parents are both gone at this point, so it's like come out here. It reminds me a lot of them. My dad was like a big fan of all things Greenport. At one point, he was, where Green Hill Kitchen is now. That had used to be a shoe store, and the shoe store building was for sale. It was called Brandy's, and it was a family and 2 sisters. And my dad, the parents had passed, and the daughters were like, we need to get rid of this building. And so my dad bought that building. There was a gentleman named Perry who owned the Harborfront Deli, and him and Perry worked together to build the building that is there now. That is Green Hill Kitchen. So the shoe store had to go. It was unsafe. And so the new building went up, and it was a 2-story. The deli was downstairs. There was a restaurant on the 2nd floor. And then Perry, sold it to the team that opened Green Hill Kitchen. And so every time I see that building, I'm like, oh, so this area reminds me of my family, and all the great times and memories that we have out here.
Well, thank you for sharing that story. I can't even imagine every day when you walk to work as you cross that, because we just see it as a white building on the corner with a cute little barbecue pig sitting outside now. But to hear you talk about, how you see that building and what connection that brings to the town, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course. There was a time when that building was for sale, and I was like, wouldn't it be great if we took it back and put the store in there? And then I was like, that's just too much work.
I don't even remember it being a shoe store. I guess that was a really long time ago, because I only remember it being a deli before Greenport Kitchen.
I remember.
So you're talking, way back, which,
Yes. It was, I believe it was like in the 90s, before, because my dad bought it in the 90s. So it was before that it was Brandy's store.
So your family's been in the entrepreneurial business, if you will. Is that where you get your where you get the entrepreneurial bug from, you would say?
Probably. My dad was an architect for retail design. So he designed the Bloomingdale's in Soho when that opened 100 years ago. Him, as well as he redid like the first floor of Saks Fifth Avenue, and he's done tons of stuff all over the world. So
wow, so through osmosis and in your DNA, you are bringing so much expertise and knowledge to what you are doing today.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been a great motivator, and I have two sisters who were also in the field, and so the whole family is sort of a little bit on the creative entrepreneurial side. So it's been really great to see how we've all sort of inherited the gene.
Well, I'm gonna switch hats. I'm gonna switch hats from co-host to NOFO style for a second. I mean, I'm so excited and grateful that you carry a curated selection of our bags. But at the end of this conversation, I feel even more sort of proud. I'm like, oh, I passed the Elyse test. Like the fact that you're choosing to include my tiny brand in your store. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. So thank you for that.
Of course, and your tiny brand is not so tiny, and you do amazing things, and it's really resonated positively with the customers and my clients that come into the store. I've sold your bags, I've sold your necklaces now at this point, keychains. It's great. I have a few other local design artisans that we carry as well. Uncaged Jewelry is a local woman who makes some great jewelry as well that I carry, as well as like Out East Eyewear. I don't know if you're familiar with this brand. It's a Hamptons-based brand, and so I carry their sunglasses as well. And then Brittany, who owns Hampton Hand-Poured Candles, she makes amazing. Yes. She designed 3 custom scents for the store when we reopened 3 years ago.
Wait, so what does Greenport smell like? I'm sure that's. Do you sell the Greenport candle, or did she make custom scents for Salt and Sea?
She made 3 custom scents for me because Tea and Tchotchkes across the street carries her
regular line. Okay.
Yeah, the regular line, and so we try to not monopolize or cannibalize each other. And so if somebody else is in the village that carries the brand, we don't carry it. The same with like Blue Space around the corner. They carry some name brands, and so we just don't carry the same brands, just out of respect for each other and just to, not.
Because it doesn't make any sense to compete with each other. So I love that. I love that there's that
I love
camaraderie.
That was the word I was going to use. Yes, the camaraderie and the sense of community that, everybody, and we hear that a lot on this show of, everybody is really respectful of each other because we're all collectively trying to make it out here.
I mean, Greenport is technically a village, so it does take a village.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been a really, really amazing, like we really do take care of each other. We send customers to each other's shops. If somebody comes in looking for something I don't carry, I have no problem sending them to, to other spaces. And I hope they do that to me as well. But it's really been great. And it's like, we all hang out at, each other's restaurants, and, we're always like chatting about things like, oh my gosh, business was so slow this week. It's like, I know, me too. Or business was great. What do you think happened? It's like, there's not a lot of rhyme or reason as to why some days are busier than others, except for, June, obviously.
So speaking of community, let's jump into our NOFO Live 5. If you were going to invite Sunita and I out to lunch, dinner, breakfast, your choice, where would you take us?
So my favorite place, and where everybody that comes in and asks that question, is First and South. Sarah and Dan are the best, and it's literally the most welcoming, inviting atmosphere over there. They have an amazing espresso martini, and of course, you can't go wrong with the burger and First.
You know, I have to say something. I need to jump in the next question, but I have to say this. When you mentioned about how the store owners interact with each other, as a foodie, I guess I notice it more that the chefs here really end up showing up and supporting each other. I've seen other chefs at restaurant openings. I know when Cheo did his residency at Southhold, at the Shoals, you know, I saw several chefs come there on opening day. Andrea was there where he worked before. And just, I was going to say this weekend, but a couple of days ago, Lynn from Wednesday's Table did a pop-up at the brewery, and it was amazing. It was I think I waited 2.5 hours to get my banh mi, but it was worth it.
Whoa.
But yeah, it was an hour in the line, and I felt so much for Lynn, but like, I want to say hundreds of people showed up. The brewery was packed. But looking around, Sarah from First and South was there. Noah's was there waiting in line to get his banh mi. I think Grace and Grit. You know, so it just, you know, I know, Tracy, you said we talk about this week after week, but it really, truly is. People live that life here. And to see chefs at other restaurants supporting, I know, not Frisky Oyster. What's the one by me? The little fish. I mean, Arden is always at every restaurant supporting, and it's just a beautiful and a normal thing for us to see, but it needs to be celebrated because it is not normal or common every place else. So it is really a special place that we live in. So I'm glad that you mentioned that the boutique owners also sort of support each other.
Absolutely. And, you know, not to take away from her amazing banh mi sandwich, but we need more Asian food out here. Like,
you're telling me, sister. Yes, which is, I think, why so many people showed up for the one day, although, you know, one day is not enough, but we'll let Lynn decide what her future plans are. Okay. Since you're working so hard all the time, sunrise, sunset, what do you catch, and where in Greenport do you go?
While I'm an early bird, I am up at like 5 a.m, and not because I want to be, it's just because I'm at that age where I just wake up at 5 now. But I love a sunset. Sunsets are just so beautiful. And being here in Greenport, you know, obviously I have to go over to the Sound View. And, you know, watch the sunset from over there and have a great drink. And that's one of my favorite spots over there.
And it's somewhere you can see all year long too, because, you know, that was something we were talking about the last podcast, is in some locations the sun moves so far to the left that you can't always see it, you know, over the horizon. So I think the Sound View is one way you can catch it all year long.
Yeah, and it's just so pretty over there, and they're great.
Okay, so cocktail, mocktail, brewery, vineyard. You mentioned cocktails at the Halyard. Where might we see you, and what would you be enjoying?
I like all of them. I don't discriminate on my alcohol intake. But again, just to stay here in Greenport, because I feel like Greenport is the heart and soul of the North Fork. Bricks and Rye. Evan is phenomenal. You can literally go to him and say, I don't know, can you make a vanilla vodka for me? Oh, absolutely. And like he doesn't carry flavored vodkas, but he can make a flavored vodka. Or you just tell him like, want something with like tequila and citrus. No problem. And he makes like the most amazing, best drink ever. And super nice, and he's not bad to look at.
Okay, Tracy, our holiday party this year, our holiday party is going to be Bricks and Rye. We are going to have Evan make us two different mocktails. And we're going to eat 1973 pizza. I just decided that's our holiday party this year.
Done.
Because we keep talking about it, we never end up there. So this is it.
And they have the best.
We should clarify that our holiday party is Sunita and me.
Well, I mean, if anybody wants to come join us now that we put it out there, that is going to be great. Yes, but it is the NOFO Live. But yes, thank you for putting that out there. Yes. Otherwise, people might think it's Bollywood Part 2, which, by the way, even now, every time I go everywhere, people are still asking about Bollywood Part 2.
Is that going to?
Yes, it's happening.
Is
It's
it?
happening.
Oh, okay. I keep telling people it's
I
not. So we
mean,
should
I'm
talk.
gonna show up somewhere and dance, so we better have a place to do it.
That's
Okay, Elyse, what about farm stands? Where do you like to go, and what do you like to get there?
I like all the farm stands are great, but I think the one I end up at the most is the Country View, the yellow and green one over by the animal hospital. That's just I don't know if it's just because it's en route like home and we're traveling everywhere, so that's the one I go to most frequently. They had the most amazing snap peas this summer. They were fabulous.
Oh, I love snap peas.
Yeah, they were so good.
All I know is every time I drive by there, just the scent of whatever they're baking, I don't know if it's cakes, it's breads, whatever you call them, like my car just has to make that left.
Yeah, they do. They have amazing baked goods as well.
Well, Elyse, if you could sum it up in one sentence or two, why do you love it?
I think it goes back to what I was saying before about how the Newport just reminds me of family. It being my dad's favorite place. So I think about him when I'm out here, and I miss my parents terribly. And so I think about them a lot when I'm out here. And it just brings back all the great, happy memories. And also what we were talking about is the whole community. It's like we all really have each other's back, take care of each other out here, whether you're a shop owner or a restaurant, all like recommend to each other and to our guests that come in the door. And so I really love that whole sense of community, family that is out here.
I think, Elyse, you're right when you said Greenport is the sort of the heart of the North Fork, because between the carousel and the marina and just the whole history, whether it's fishing, whether it's, the whole marine history of the Greenport really attracts so many people. And I'm glad that your store is such a beautiful part of that front street. Greenport is going to be having a couple of events coming up that I just want to shout out. There is going to be a tree lighting ceremony early in December, which Tracy and I sort of are playing a part in, so we'll share more about that as time goes on. But there also is a Greenport stroll, which I believe last year was the first year, and this year they're sort of, I think Kara is involved in it, taking the ball and running with it. And what I hear is, I think it's December 19th, correct me if I'm wrong, Elyse, but Front Street, a portion of Front Street will actually be closed down this year, so you can walk around and shop. And I think, that's a perfect day to be out and about in Greenport and check off your holiday list.
The rumor is that they are closing the street for the holiday stroll. I have not believed that that's happening, but that is what is the plan.
Okay. Well, even if they don't close it, it's such a quiet street, and in the off season you could walk it anyway. In the middle of the street. I mean, with the tree and the all the stuff at the carousel.
Yep.
But that's a really beautiful evening. I believe Southold is also having one before that.
Yep.
So we'll put all those dates out there, and it's just a great way to go out, be part of the community, and maybe caroling and getting in the holiday spirit.
And then there's also the first weekend in December is going to be the raised shell version of celebration is happening as well. So there's events that are happening, leading into the holiday season. So hopefully, it's been a little bit of a slow fall. So hopefully the push will be good for all the businesses out here. And I think people just love coming out here when they have all the lights up on the streets. It's just so pretty and festive.
Yes, and there's parades that I think it's on the same day actually as the tree lighting in Greenport. Southold Fire Department is having a parade. So you're right. I think there was a tiny lull for fall, but now the off-season activities have kicked in, and I guess
we're entering the Hallmark movie season of the North Fork.
Yes. That's the perfect way to sum it up. Well, Thank you for joining us, Elyse. Can't wait to stop in and check out what you're doing for the holiday store merchandising. Now that I have more information of the process, I can't wait to see the visual representation.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you so much. And I wanted to thank you guys in the beginning, but I forgot. We got right into it. But when I first opened, you two came into the store and introduced yourselves, and my husband and I were here and sort of like deers in headlights. And so for coming in and being supporters from the very beginning. I do really appreciate that. And I'm super grateful that you guys invited me onto the podcast today.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next Friday.
Thank
Bye.
you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.